Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I didn't know we were on.
Are we on?
We're on.
Oh, good.
We're on. And it's 2:52. Okay. That's all I need to know. Up to 3:50.
Mm-hmm.
I am Asaph Adonai, your host. Yeah, Scott didn't tell us we were on. Aren't you glad you didn't have a long hair hanging out of your nose?
I know, definitely.
And on my left, affectionately, our HE rocker Emmet. So we're in our Trump Tower, we call this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? I didn't want to mention it in the last show because I didn't want to use that name to distract
Yeah.
what we were talking about. This is called the one-on-one set. It's its real name.
Uh-huh.
And we thought it was so bland, we decided to call it our Trump set.
Yeah, exactly.
Our Trump Tower set.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not here to necessarily endorse any candidate. We're just using a name.
Right,
And
right.
it's a big
Mm-hmm.
building. It's a beautiful set, actually,
Yeah,
when
it
you
is.
think about it. So that's what we're calling it,
Mm-hmm.
our Trump Tower.
Yep.
Did you hear about Spider-Man on the Trump Tower in the news?
Oh, yeah, that was unbelievable. Yep. I sure
Yeah,
did.
it's suction cups. He was climbing up there.
Unbelievable.
Well, they're going to evaluate this young man now because
Yeah, that's good. Why couldn't he have just gone through the front door if he didn't mean any harm to Trump? Just go through
well,
the
he
like.
was just trying to get Mr. Trump's attention. So
Well, he did, and yeah,
he
it's not,
succeeded there. Yeah.
yeah, it's not the right way to do it. I would just walk
I
to the
know,
front
I
door.
just knock- yeah, that's probably a safer way.
And I'm afraid of heights. Did you know that?
No kidding. Well, so am I.
I'm terrified of heights. I could not have done that. I'm just shaking with height. Even that, just seeing that high up,
Right.
gave me the heebie-jeebies, you know?
No kidding.
I'm very much afraid of I'm afraid of falling. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, if I could fly through the air like Superman, I wouldn't be afraid of heights. Or just
Yeah.
float in midair, I wouldn't be afraid, you know?
Or if you didn't die like, people die, or feel pain like
Yeah.
that.
For some reason, I'm also afraid of open spaces.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not claustrophobic. I like closed, but I'm also afraid of water. I know how to swim. I've taken swimming lessons, in summer camps, when I was a kid, but I'm afraid of water. I'm just not
Right.
very buoyant. I don't swim well.
I never swim very well. I know how to swim, but
Yeah.
I've never been good at it.
Yeah. I'm just not very buoyant.
As soon as I finish this, we'll have you start us off.
That's a great idea.
I never get tired of this song.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've probably played it hundreds of times
Yep,
in my
yep.
lifetime. And the conclusion. And here's the final conclusion to it.
Beautiful,
I just
easy
love
listening.
this
Oh,
song.
it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's just such a beautiful song. You can start us off.
Heavenly Father, bless our time to get our food in Jesus' name.
I'm in agreement.
Yep.
So, anyway, I didn't get to ask you in the last show. How have you been?
I've been quite well, yeah. I had an allergy attack, though, this morning. I didn't even know if I was going to make it, but I was able to, and I thought, well, maybe just getting out of the house would do it, and I had to take some allergy medication, but I'm pretty much fine now. It's been like usually...
If you don't feel well, just call me.
Yeah. It's just, this has been a bad allergy season, though. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I was able to make it. I thought it was important. Just finally, the allergies kind of calmed, down. But this has been a terrible allergy season this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't have those allergy problems, but I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm going to keep track of our time.
Yeah,
here.
definitely.
So I'm going to put this aside. That's the show we just did.
Yeah.
But this is a beautiful set anyway, like I was saying, getting back to it. I like all these virtual sets.
Oh, yeah, they're
so
beautiful.
fun. And some sets are more fun to me than others, and this is just such a delightful set. Just the
Uh-huh.
building just captures
Oh,
everything,
yeah, definitely.
Wonderful world.
Yes.
I think we can talk about easy listening music.
Yeah. First, I wanted to talk about DVRs, though.
Okay.
We were talking about, because for some reason, I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning one time, a Saturday morning, and I did see a little bit of HR Pufnstuf. I was too tired to stay up and watch it. I wanted to just go back to sleep. It was on Me TV at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then at 6:30 a.m., Guess what they had? Land of the Lost, the old one.
Both of them?
Yeah. That's too early for me. That is, but I don't like DVRs because remember back when we had VHS tapes, you could just program a timer recording program to record something in the morning and keep it on VHS. I had I had DVRs for a little while, but the programs kept piling up, and you had to delete some if you want to keep adding some. So and you couldn't save it permanently unless you wanted to put it on DVD on a second step. With VHS, a VCR, you could just do it in one step and save it forever. See, I want to save all my old shows forever. You know, I don't want them to be erased.
Yeah.
So DVR is nice, but I just don't think it's more efficient. I think, why can't they have like a DVD player that you can do a timer recording and put it onto DVD and just it's automatically finalized? You don't have to finalize a DVD because you never had to finalize anything on VHS, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
So a friend of mine got me, to get a DVR, but I had to quit in a couple of months. It just wasn't working out for me, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the conclusion of this song.
Yep.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, it is.
Getting back to those old VHS players, it's amazing that we have this technology. Like, it's amazing we have these little smartphones, I think they call them.
I know.
I graduated from high school in 1976. This did not even exist. There was no such thing as this in 1976. And it's just amazing. They had those big clumsy VHS players where the roof would pop off and you put the tape in. And what was funny about it is when you rewind it, it would rewind so fast at the end of it, it would just instantly stop and you wonder if it would snap your tape. It didn't slow down then. And then eventually it got to the point where they figured out a way to make it slow down just before it stops.
Yep.
Because my birth mom used to have that kind of it'd go
Yep.
and it would just stop suddenly.
Yep.
Quickly, so anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely. Bert Kempfer?
Yeah, Bert Kempfer.
Yeah, I saw some of his other stuff on the Easy Listening station. Yeah, I can't even remember what it was. Yeah, but they were playing that something similar to that, or
Swingin' Safari.
Yep, Swingin' Safari. Yep. Didn't he pass away too?
Yeah, Bert Kempfer's gone now.
Yeah. Thing is, I've seen so many on the Easy Listening station, they play on the music choice channels. They say, did you know such and such, Easy Listening artist was born on this date and then died on this date.
Right.
They're almost all gone now.
Well, that was in the 60s. That's like 40, 50 years old.
Yes.
That whole generation is about gone now.
I know.
Al Hurt is gone. Bert Kempfer is gone.
Yeah.
All those artists from the 60s are pretty much all gone now.
Yeah, I know.
50s and the 40s, the big band era, they're all gone.
Yeah.
But they left some wonderful music.
Oh, they did.
Bert Kempfer was interesting to me. He's from German descent, and they called him the hit maker.
Yep.
He was so popular, and I did a story on Wake Up Missoula about Bert Kempfer once last year. He was so popular that all the other artists were doing his music.
Yep.
They would say, like let's say Al Hurt, the famous trumpeter.
Yep.
He had an album called Al Hurt Plays Kempfer. And then they had a singer like Johnny Mathis that said Johnny Mathis sings Kempfer.
Yep.
It was like every artist of that era were putting their names and saying they're playing Kempfer.
Yep.
That's how popular Bert Kempfer was.
Yep.
He was just a brilliant
he was
songwriter, easy listening songwriter, and
it was fantastic.
Yeah, he just left the world some fun
He
music.
did.
And that Swingin' Safari, that's such a cool song.
It is. Jackie Gleason's gone. Jackie Gleason is gone. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. So many of the others. Andrew Coulson is gone.
They're all gone.
They're all gone.
And Jackie
now.
Gleason had a wonderful
He
orchestra.
did.
You gonna make it there? Maybe you should drink some of your soda.
The allergies are coming back.
Yeah, they are.
They're definitely
I'll
coming.
hit you for that secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Too.
The allergy medication doesn't last forever. I'm gonna have to take some again when I get home.
That's all right. I understand.
Yep.
For our audience who don't know what this means when we say secret ingredient, this is not alcoholic. It's just Pepsi.
Right.
I call it secret ingredient because in Star Trek number 5, I have all 10 movies. for those who don't know what that means and are on this show, there was a scene where Dr. McCoy was making some beans around a campfire with Captain Kirk and Spock, and he put alcohol in the beans.
Yep.
But he didn't tell Spock he put the alcohol in the beans, so he's cooking it. That's part of the recipe, and the beans are ready, and Spock's just gobbling up the beans. He doesn't know what this is, and McCoy says, that's our secret ingredient, what we put in the beans. And then they tell Spock it's alcohol, right? And so Spock says, am I to assume that your secret ingredient is alcohol for the beans?
Yep.
And Dr. McCoy says, yeah. And then Captain Kirk finally says, you got any more of that secret ingredient?
Agree. I love that.
So that's where I got that
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
the secret ingredient. So this is our version of the secret ingredient.
Definitely.
Coke. I normally don't even drink Coke, but I make an exception because it's so small. Because, like, I'm not telling people don't drink soda. But let's face it, soda is just so full of sugar.
Yeah. Well, at least it has caffeine.
I know it tastes good, and
sugar and caffeine. I need it, to do a show.
Well, I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just know that you're drinking a lot of sugar. So,
Yep.
Let me think of some other. Oh, I know what I want to play. See if you know this song.
I've heard it on the Lawrence Welk show many times.
It's called Chances Are.
That's it. The chances are. That's it. Yeah. I couldn't remember the name, but I've heard it on the Lawrence Welk show. Yep, they sang it. Oh yeah, your chances are pretty good. It's a love song. Yeah. Oh, I love this song too. Yeah, it's beautiful. I would love to be able to record HR Pufnstuf and Land of the Lost, but the thing is my VCR broke. I can only play videotapes. I can't, and the remote sold, I can't do any timer recordings. I'm very disappointed. I wish there was a DVD player that you could just do timer recordings on DVDs, and I wish you didn't have to finalize them that second step, because they are less bulky than VHS tapes.
But that's the way it is, or it was, or whatever. But getting back to HR Pufnstuf, that was such a fun show.
It was just a little I saw, and I was too sleepy to make myself.
What time did that come on when you saw it? What time did that come on?
6 a.m. in the morning.
It was.
I just needed.
Well, if I got up that early watching the show, it would throw my sleep off.
It did. That's why I wanted to go back to sleep.
I'd be drowsy the rest of the day if I.
I didn't want that, but it seemed like a nice show. I liked it. I don't remember seeing it as a child that much, but
let's talk about the premise of that show.
Yes.
I did a story on HR Pufnstuf last year. Believe it or not, on Wake Up Missoula. Basically. HR Pufnstuf, they're like puppet characters, life-size puppet characters, the people, the actors that play the characters.
Yep.
HR Pufnstuf is the mayor of the city that he lives in. And there's this boy named Jimmy who has a magic talking flute. And there's this witch that wants her hands on that flute. So what she does is she sends this boat, the witch sends this boat out to entice the boy to get on the boat, and the boat's talking. The boy says, "Come, Jimmy, ride with me, and I will take you on a trip." Right?
Yep.
And he's a kid, so the kid gets on a boat, right? And the boat hijacks the little boy, and then the thunder starts. That witch is like flying around trying to get him, right? But HR Pufnstuf looks on his monitor and he sees his little boy in trouble. So HR Pufnstuf and his staff, they go out to the water. They save the boy from that witch.
Yeah.
And they protect the boy. And what's interesting about Pufnstuf's home, the witch's power has no power over his house. Like when HR Pufnstuf goes into his house, he's safe. He's covered.
Yeah.
And the witch's power can't get him. So what they do throughout the series, they just protect that boy and that flute from that witch.
Interesting.
That's basically, and then they have like fun little children things. It's just all imaginary.
Interesting.
But the old nasty witch, they protect.
Yep.
They protect the boy, HR Pufnstuf, and they befriend the boy. And Pufnstuf is the mayor, and then he's got like the talking owls the back there that says "whoo" all the time.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. So.
If I remember, the trees talked, the walls talked.
Yeah, everything
talked.
talked, and I can't remember the name of the city that he lives in, but yeah, I used to watch that show. This might be interesting. You know the theme of it?
Yes, Haydn's Surprise Symphony.
That is based on the Haydn Surprise Symphony. If you slow it down, hear it? That's how the Surprise Symphony. So on HR Pufnstuf, all they need is speed it up. Hear it?
Yep.
That's the only thing they did.
Wonderful.
A lot of people don't realize that or know that. That's really
I was raised on Haydn, I love Haydn. Yeah.
I like Haydn too, so. I'm working on a song called, see if I can remember the name of it. It's a Chopin piece.
Washing machine splashes in a coffee cup. And it was an unknown by Haydn, or Chopin. One of Chopin's forgotten symphonies. I guess they didn't have washing machines, so he probably invented some like a toy splashes around in a coffee cup.
I don't know. But anyway, I can't think of the title of the song right now, and I'm working on it. It's, I believe it's a prelude in B minor. It goes something like this. I don't know if you ever heard it. You ever heard this song?
Nope.
Never heard it?
Let's see.
Something like that. I'm still working it out. Isn't that a beautiful song?
It is. Almost sounds like a Mannheim Steamroller when they did the Fresh Air series.
You could technically probably play that in a church service. So it's got a reverent feel
it does.
to it. Because before the old hymns came out, that's what they did in churches. They played a lot of classical music. From what I understand.
They did. Yep, I'm sure.
Nah,
they did.
you're not gonna play Flight of the Bumblebee.
No, you're not going.
Yeah, but all these songs like this, I'll do it again.
Because I'm a big Mannheim Steamroller fan. If you ever heard of them.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, I love them. This would be a prelude to one of their stuff. Like they did albums based on the seasons. It was wonderful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I'm still working on it. It's beautiful, especially that part right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I've only been working on it for a few days now, but it's just a beautiful. Let's see if I can do that part again. Hold on. Let me try it one more time. Beautiful song.
Yeah.
Those chords.
Yeah, I love Mannheim Steamroller. I have their first 4 albums.
I can't do it right now, but it's a beautiful song.
The only this is gonna sound horrible to diehard Mannheim Steamroller fans, and I am one. I really didn't care for their Christmas albums. All they did was jazz up the Christmas songs, in a kind of a synthesizer way. I have some on tape from Easy 102, but I preferred the original compositions.
Yeah,
because they did a Christmas album, on synthesizers.
But they got to get fancy. And, that's all. I think it just caters to young people. So
I love Mannheim Steamroller. Very talented.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that. But yeah, they just I'm familiar with what they did with the Christmas songs.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily work for me, but I think if you're a young person, you would like it. So. Yeah, Christmas is a wonderful time of year.
Oh, it is.
Very wonderful.
By the way, it's coming up sooner than you think.
I know. Can you believe it? Wow, 2016 has just breezed by.
Yeah, it has. It's August already.
No.
I don't think the smoke is helping my allergies because there's been that big roaring fire.
Yeah.
Roaring like that has not helped anybody's allergies.
Right, yeah. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, it is.
This is the minute waltz in slow motion.
Uh-huh. I wish MeTV would play more Saturday morning cartoons from the 60s and 70s. That'd be cool. They don't really. After HR Pufnstuf and Land of the Lost, then they switched to other programming.
Really?
Yeah. Do you remember Nickelodeon?
Yes, I do.
They've changed that channel so much. I remember when Nickelodeon first was for preschoolers, and then older children. They have changed.
Well, you know,
that.
I think with those changes like you're talking about, they have to cater, I guess, to current stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say it's wrong or indifferent or whatever, but it's just something that they do.
I think they're under different management because they used to have better programming for little toddlers, and I guess I remember watching Nickelodeon, and I really liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Stuff for toddlers, you know, plus and minus, the two puppets with plus and minus teaching about basic math, and of course this one person who would introduce just ordinary stuff like, he looked like a mailman. I think he was a mailman.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, of the show on Nickelodeon, but it was in 1985. He was a mailman with a mustache. He was kind of a puppet character, and he talked about new shoes, you know, saying, new shoes, I've got new shoes. Or someone else would say, when you go through the day to people, say, have a nice day. I don't remember the name of that show, but that was on Nickelodeon.
I don't know that one. See if you know this one here. Tell me if you know this. Do you recognize it?
Nope.
I'll do it again. I missed the note.
Nope.
Do it again. Don't recognize it.
Nope.
Huh? Blue Clues. Remember Blue's Clues?
Oh, I never watched it.
Well, that was the theme song to it. So.
Yeah.
But
But
that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think. I remember watching Blue's Clues.
Yeah,
I just thought
interesting,
that was
yeah.
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, they don't come out anymore. I think that the guy that was hosting it, the original guy, I think he grew up.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get like 40, I guess you're
Yeah.
not going to be doing cartoon shows anymore, or 30 or something.
Yeah. Well, Nickelodeon, all they have now are sitcoms from the 80s or some 90s,
Really?
something I can't remember, but it's just not the same format at all. They should have stuck to the same format.
See if you know this one here. Here, see if you've heard this. See. Let me try it again.
Nope, I
The
don't.
Facts of Life. Do you remember? You don't recognize
I
that?
never watched The Facts of
Well,
Life.
okay, never mind. Kim Fields was on TV. She was on, I think it was Wendy Williams' show just yesterday. The actress that
Yeah?
played Tootie. Yeah, she has grown up to be a wonderful young lady.
No, wonderful.
She has her own family now. You can't stay the cute
Yeah.
little girls anymore. You're little kids, you know, when you're on television as a child.
Yeah.
But you know, it's something. All those shows, Alf, The Facts of Life.
Yeah.
They're like 30 years old.
I
now.
know they
Isn't that
are,
Amazing.
yeah.
Time just flies, you know. Just really flies.
Yep.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, 30 minutes have already gone by.
Amazing.
Yeah, time
Yeah.
just flies when you do
I know.
this show. But yeah, I used to watch all those shows.
I loved Elf, you know that. Anyone who
Yeah.
I loved Elf.
Well, that was the #1 show on NBC at one time.
Yep.
My birth mom used to watch that show a lot. She was a big fan
Yeah,
of
that was hysterical.
She would just stop everything just to take time to watch that show.
When I was taking a bath today, that show was going through my mind. Do you remember the one? It was funny. And I don't know why I was thinking about that. Maybe I was thinking about the piano when I'm just getting ready for the show. Well, Alf was eating all the food, and the family, Willie and others, were complaining. Alf, you know, and even the little boy said, Alf, you're eating all our food. And, you know, they said, are you calling me a freeloader? And he said, no, freeloader's what you called them last week. No, you know, just whatever. Brian would say, and he said, okay, well, I'll be in the next room, not wasting money, you know. And he was playing late at night on the piano. I checked into that Parasite Hotel. They ain't got a porter or a bell. I checked into the Parasite Hotel. And Kate said, you seem kind of down, Alf. He said, well, I just don't exactly like being called freeloader or parasite. Pretty depressing. He said, you caught us in a moment of honesty. You know, it's just we can find some chores for you, whatever. And he said, all right. And she said, don't worry about it. We're sorry about it. Chores, fine for the beaver, but not tycoon territory. So he said, looked at the phone book. There's something. I've got to make money and fast now, but how? And then he looked at the phone books. There was something, an ad or something. Make money now. Opportunity knocks. So he called on the phone. Haven't made any money yet. I have to sell something. Well, bring it here and I'll sell it. It was Terry Faith Cosmetics. Do you want me to give away the whole show or not? Or?
You can. It's 30 years though. That show.
Well, he bought Terry Faith Cosmetics, and he thought, it's not a job. It's a fast-paced, glittering career. Well, it got funnier and funnier because he got some makeup. But I don't want to spoil all the jokes.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, he said, well, and then they finally found out about it, about Oscar's hernia. And he says, send hunting chassis will be very excellent this year. Send a ton of those. And, of course, Willie said, pardon me, I'm asking, who are you talking to about hunting chassis? And pardon my ignorance, what are hunting sachets? I guess you wear them when you go hunting. He said, all right, I'll just tell you. I'm a Terry Faith salesperson. And Lynn said, I thought you were an alien. Why can't I have the both best of both worlds? And he explained it. Here's what he did. He maxed out Willie's credit card for $1,000 worth of makeup.
Oh my goodness.
He was gonna sell it. So he had advertised a Terry Faith sales party where Willie, Tanner, and Kate would have to play host and hostesses to his customers right in their home. And all these girls came around, the woman showed up and it's, look at all this Terry Faith Cosmetics, I just love it. Well, and then more was backed up from the freight delivery, just over $1,000 worth of makeup. And of course, Willie was furious because he had maxed out his credit card and there's no way we're gonna get this back.
Okay.
You have abused the trust of this family for far too long. I can't do it the way they did it, but finally, they did make a small profit. They got it all back plus a small profit.
Okay.
It would pay for that call to Munich. It was so funny. I can't describe it,
So
but it was
had
funny.
a happy ending.
Yeah,
He
it
got
did.
in a lot of trouble.
But he almost got into real trouble. I mean, I thought, I can't do it the way Alf did. It's so funny. I was roaring with laughter.
I assume you must have episodes of that show on YouTube.
Oh
days
yeah,
now.
they have.
Well, it's
that
just
was
amazing.
roaring
This show
with
is
laughter.
30 years old. My goodness. I just feel so
Yeah.
old.
I know.
You know?
Oh, and then of course he said to Willie, when Willie was angry, my career really threatens you, doesn't it? He said, financially, yes. I mean, it's funny as heck. He wanted a career, not just a few jobs, but a fast-paced, glittering career. I mean, wait, he did it. Yeah, Kate, sit down, if I can remember. Now, sit down. I mean this, Kate, I mean this. It's not that you look old, but someone of your beauty should let your beauty linger with the passing of time. He was trying to be a Terry Faith salesman. I about died laughing. I can't do it the way they did it.
I understand. I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
I was just having, sometimes I would laugh so hard on that show, I had tears coming from my eyes, because they exaggerated everything, ran the jokes into the ground, and how funny can this be, you know? And finally it did have a happy ending, but there was no more Terry Faith, sales stuff, no more. I can't blame her. That was funny as heck, you know? I mean, Alf was just such a funny show.
It was. Oh, I missed a note there.
Yeah.
Again.
I don't think I could have an alien like Alf living with me. I'd be broken in trouble with the law. I mean, the family nearly got in trouble with the law a few times where it broke constantly. And it would start fires and always try and eat the cat. It just wasn't work, you know?
Yeah.
It just worked, you know?
I'm playing the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah. They had a couple of Christmas specials, I think, on Alf, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah, I remember they did.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Grinch tie, as you can see. I don't know if you noticed it. Yeah, so it just made me think of that song to play all of a
Oh,
sudden.
yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, Alf was funny.
Yeah,
all those shows were fun.
Yeah.
The Grinch and Charlie Brown, all the rest. Did you see the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey?
No, I did not.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like they had some really good special effects on there because it was just like watching the cartoon, but the only difference is it was real life. And it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Jim Carrey. And they did it was almost perfect. Like, remember they had the narration on the Grinch?
Yeah.
They used the exact same narration in the movie version.
Yeah.
They didn't change anything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, I'm not necessarily a big Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
But I did like him in the Grinch. I liked him.
Yeah. This may sound like sacrilege to a lot of people. I hate to say it. I'm not really the biggest fan of Dr. Seuss. I never was, even as a kid. Like Green Ink, it's and Ham and others.
Well, it's different.
The Cat in the Hat,
But I do like the Grinch.
Yeah.
I do like that. And, my birth mom used to read all those books to me when I was a kid, all those Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah.
Green Eggs and Ham. I'd forgotten all about that one.
Oh, yeah. I do not like them, Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like to eat them here and there? I do not like green eggs, Sam I do not like
They had a documentary on Ted Geisel was his name in real life. The guy that went by Dr. Seuss. He had a pretty impressive career. It was tough for him to get those characters launched off from what I understand. But persistence, I think, in this case, paid off. He was able to do it. And he left the world some great characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you're not necessarily a fan of Green Eggs and Ham, it's still fun.
Exactly.
You got a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
He's going to love that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
So, that's just fun. And his cartoons and characters, they were just fun.
Yeah, they were,
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey, he did a wonderful job with the Grinch. And he even sang in the film. Remember that song I just got through playing, The Grinch Stole Christmas, that theme song? Yeah, Jim Carrey did his version of that. It was pretty cool. It was an updated version of that. And they had some fun characters in the movie. Same with the Flintstones, the movie version, John Goodman. Well, it was pretty cool watching him slide down that dinosaur's tail. He goes, yabba dabba doo.
Oh, yeah.
And he lands in the car, just like the cartoon. It's pretty cool, too. So. Let's see.
The reason this is a true story, the reason I watched the Flintstones as a kid is because, do you remember a cartoon called Land of the Dinosaurs? They showed it on Cartoon Network years ago.
I think I know of it.
It was a cartoon where it's similar to Land of the Lost, where this family went back in time, and they were back in prehistoric times with Land of the Dinosaurs. Okay. And I could not remember the name of that show, and I wanted to see it. And I read it in a TV guide. The Flintstones coming on about a prehistoric family and in prehistoric times. Was that Land of the Dinosaurs? I couldn't remember the name.
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
It wasn't, but the Flintstones was different. I wasn't impressed at first, but I thought I might as well just keep watching the Flintstones, even though it isn't whatever that show was. Only years later, when they had it on Cartoon Network, did I remember that Land of the Dinosaurs.
Was the name of the program?
A cartoon, yes, about a prehistoric family went back in time, similar to Land of the Lost. It was animated.
I know of it. I know.
It was very good. I liked it. Land of the Dinosaurs.
Chopin here.
The Flintstones was okay. It was interesting. So was the Jetsons. The Jetsons was the opposite.
Now that was one I didn't particularly care for as much. The Jetsons. I mean, I'd watch it.
Yeah. Oh, same here. I liked it a little better than the Flintstones. We always assumed that in the year 2000, it would be like the Jetsons. We would be talking to each other on video phones and going to outer space and having flying cars and escalators everywhere. It didn't turn out like that. Robots waiting on us, like Rosie. It didn't turn out that way.
One thing I did like about the Jetsons at the time in its heyday, it did seem so futuristic.
That's why I liked
it. If you think about it, like, when they had their phone calls.
Yeah.
And you can do that now today, just like the Jetsons with Skype.
That's cool. Yeah, that is good.
You can do that. You can literally talk to someone and see them on the screen, just like the Jetsons, if I had to describe that.
Yeah. The video phone never caught on, though. I was kind of
not the video phone, about Skype.
Yeah, I know.
You can have a laptop or computer. Like, I have those friends over in Vietnam that I can see on the screen. I can actually see them and talk to them, and they can see me, just like the Jetsons. Now, that's pretty cool. Now, of course, everything that they did on the Jetsons didn't come to pass.
I know.
Flying cars and things like that.
Robots doing our dishes and cooking for us.
Not likely. I think I'd rather do my own dishes, have some robot do my dishes.
I think I'd rather a robot do my dishes and just a clean house for me. I'd rather have that.
Uh-huh.
You know.
So, Yeah. But I mean, I would watch the Jetsons, but that didn't quite work for me like the Flintstones did.
Yeah.
The Flintstones to me was just fun. That's all.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
And they always got into situations.
They did.
Cartoon.
Oh, they did.
And Elizabeth Taylor is in the movie, the Flintstones movie.
Didn't know that, huh?
Yeah, she plays Wilma's mom.
Interesting.
Yeah, she did a fine job in it as far as I'm concerned. It was just fun watching these people.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis played Barney Rubble, and Rosie O'Donnell was Betty Rubble.
Yeah.
And I think she did a fine Betty Rubble.
Yeah.
They wore those costumes in the movie just like what they had. You know how Fred has that orange with the...
Yes.
Yeah, that's what John Goodman was wearing in the film. And it was fun to watch the Flintstones in movie version.
Interesting.
And the group, the B-52s, was in that. Yeah, they're a pretty good rock group.
Yeah, I don't care for the B-52s myself. But
Well, but they were fun though in the Flintstones.
Yeah.
They really were. And I think that they were the perfect group for what they did in that film. But
fascinating.
I like the storyline. The storyline on the Flintstones, basically, you know how Fred and Barney work in the gravel pit?
Yes.
Well, there was a guy that was working for Mr. Slate, and he was really an embezzler. And so he was going to try to figure out a way to steal Mr. Slate's fortune.
Oh yeah, Slate was the boss. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right. Now, Holly Berry's in this film, too. She was the accomplice
Yeah.
to Mr. Vandercave, is what they called him.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they set up this fake test for the people in the quarry. And so Fred and Barney take this test, and of course Fred does a really bad job. He scores the lowest.
Yes.
But what Barney does is he switches tests. So that's how Fred got the promotion.
Cool.
And so when Fred gets the promotion up there, he starts changing. He starts forgetting where he comes from, and it goes to his head.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting plot line there. And then during the middle of the movie, as Fred is accelerating, Barney is suffering, and they had to mortgage their house and rent their house out and go live somewhere else.
Yep.
And then in the middle of the movie, finally Barney tells Fred, because Barney had reached his breaking point, tells Fred, the only reason why you got that job is because I switched tests with you. So then that started off a big fight, and eventually they end up making up, which was cool, because they were best friends. Wilma clears Fred's name because Mr. Vandercave extorted all the money and then blamed Fred for it, and since Fred was buying all this elaborate stuff at Mr. Slate's expense without realizing it, that's how he got in trouble. And then they fix the problem and everything's back to normal. Fred gets his old job back, and but it's just a fun movie. Just a fun movie. Yeah, it didn't have any of those overtones like a lot of movies. It was just a fun.
That's wonderful.
Movie about Fred Flintstone.
Wonderful.
And John Goodman was just the perfect actor to play that role.
Yeah.
And the special effects were really good. I saw the documentary on how they made the Flintstones. They actually built this town of bedrock. What they did was they went out into a desert, an empty desert.
Wow.
In real life. And so they took they built this set out in this desert. So that's what made it believable that they were actually in bedrock, because they were out in the desert.
Yeah.
In the desert for real, building this. And I'm sure they had plenty of drinking water.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did. You'd have to. Gatorade.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably had a lot of that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much how they did that on the set of the Flintstones, the movie. And it's just, if you ever get a chance to see it, I've got it at home. Maybe one day you come out, I'll show it to you. It's really a fun movie. It's
Definitely.
a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of prehistoric television shows for kids, this was a rare treat. I loved it. It was live action. It wasn't a cartoon.
Okay.
Do you remember a series made around 1975-76 called Korg, 70,000 BC?
No, I don't know that.
That was fantastic.
Was that a movie or a cartoon?
It was live action half-hour show every Saturday morning. Live action, actual actors.
Well, they had so many of them. I don't know them all anyway, but they had.
I have a lunchbox. I had a lunchbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Korg. But anyway, there was kind of prehistoric music, but there was no dialogue. It was just cavemen And a tribe was led by someone named Korg,
Uh-huh.
and they would fight woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers with their spears, and had to survive out in caveman days.
Okay,
And
I don't know that.
it was an excellent show.
I
loved
believe
it.
it. I just don't. I don't think I know that.
Yeah, I have an old lunchbox at home of it.
Uh huh.
Because I loved Korg 70,000 BC.
Speaking
Very
of
well done.
lunchboxes, when I was a kid, every once in a while, when school first started, I'd always get a lunchbox of a new TV show.
Yes,
which
yes,
thought
I
was
did too.
Pretty cool.
I had one of Star Wars. I had a Star Wars lunchbox,
Yeah.
Korg 70,000 BC, and
Mhm.
yeah, I loved all those old lunchboxes. I don't think they make those anymore.
Probably not, but those things didn't last very long.
No.
It was when you were a kid, they were fun to take to school, and it seemed like you could pack everything.
I know.
Pack like a couple of sandwiches, put an apple in there, put some carrots and nuts and things. And
Yep.
it was fun, but yeah, I used to have my lunch boxes too.
Oh yeah, I loved them. Yep.
It was fun.
Yeah, my old Star Wars lunchbox. A
Mhm.
relative has, my mother has it. But I have my old Korg 70,000 BC. Just kept it all the year. It's practically useless now, but it's just. Yeah, it's just I was thinking about that. Yeah, that was a great show. If you could ever Google
all
it up.
those TV shows in the 60s and 70s, they had a lot of lunchbox. I think the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
There was a Partridge Family lunchbox, if I remember.
You could probably Google up Korg 70,000 BC probably and see those. They were fantastic. I don't know.
Yeah, the only sea show, SEA,
Mhm.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Oh, yeah, of course,
I used to
yes.
watch that.
Yeah.
Well, my birth mom was a big Richard Basehart fan, so actually she used to watch Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Huh.
My mom.
Uh-huh.
My birth mom used to actually watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that show's so outdated by today's standards of technology and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think that Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and those other shows, if they'd have kept it more serious.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
it started to get a little silly after
Yeah,
about
yeah.
season 2 or 3.
Mhm.
They had these goofy monsters and things, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't the same.
No.
Because when you watch Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea at the beginning, and the black and white ones, it had espionage and spies and people
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
shot and stuff like that, like an adventure thing. But
Yeah.
like anything else, they start changing scripts to appeal to children.
Well, we've been talking about that with Lost in Space.
Yeah, Lost in
that was
Space
the same
did the
thing.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, when that show first went on air, and speaking of Lost in Space, they started the entire series over.
Yeah, you
on
told me. Yep.
MeTV.
Yep.
Yeah, I was watching it just last Saturday, and they had this episode where they're on this planet where it doesn't go around the sun in like a circle.
Yeah.
It goes around the sun in an oval shape. So, like, if this is the sun and this planet's going in an oval shape, when it gets to about here or here, it gets really hot. And then it gets, like, way cold because it goes way out in space because it's not making a circle, it's doing an oval.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the Robinson family, they're trapped on that planet. And it got to about 150 below zero, because
Mhm.
that planet would go out into space, and then when it
Yep.
would get closer to the sun in an
Yeah.
oval shape orbit instead, it'd get like really hot, like 200 degrees, something like that. And they had this scene where the Robinsons were out in the middle of like this desert,
Mhm.
and they had to build this shelter real quick, and then they had to get under these like thermal like blankets, and as that sun came from the sky, it was causing the ground to catch on fire, and you see
Whoa.
fire come up on
Mhm.
the ground and stuff, and so the Robinsons were protected
Mhm.
under there. See, stuff like that, that's brilliant writing.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to pick on Irwin Allen and all that, but if it were me, if that were my show, I would have kept that show serious.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have kept Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Lost in Space serious.
Absolutely.
I would never have gone that
I
silly
know,
direction. Same
I
with
know.
Superman with George Reeves. Not
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves, George Reeves. They had like the gangsters and that's
Yeah.
Superman, fighting these bad guys.
I love that. Yeah.
And that changed too.
It did. I remember some silly stuff where
There's
they
some
went.
really
Yeah.
silly stuff on Superman.
And I just, oh boy, because I like the serious stuff better with the gangsters and that.
Yeah,
kind of,
that's what's because when you read the Superman comics, that's who he fought, and even Wonder Woman, for example.
Yeah.
You read the comics, she
Mhm.
was fighting the Nazis when they introduced that character. So
Yeah.
when they first brought Wonder Woman to the screen, it was in the 1940s, which
Yeah.
was cool because it was in fitting with the comic book. But then they had the New Adventures of Wonder Woman where it was updated, and I didn't care for it.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
It was just, I just didn't care for it.
You mean the one on MeTV from the 70s? I
Yeah.
didn't care for it. I've tried to.
No,
select
they
it.
have two versions. The
Oh.
original 1940s version Well, it was the same actress, Linda Carter.
Yeah.
But they were in the 40s. That was fun because it fought Nazis, and that's what Wonder Woman did in the comics. So when they had the next season or whatever season that was on the air, and they had the New Adventures of Wonder Woman where it was like updated, I didn't care for that.
No.
It just wasn't the same. But Linda Carter, she was so good looking in that series. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I saw pictures of the new Wonder Woman. I didn't particularly care for it.
No.
Did you see they got a new Wonder Woman coming
No,
out?
I never even cared for the concept of Wonder Woman for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, no, it was fun. I mean, it wasn't one of those like, what do you call women's lib?
Yeah, I know.
She was just a lady that came from Paradise Island that wanted to protect the Earth. And what I liked about it was good, always over evil.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah.
And that's what Wonder Woman is about.
Yeah.
It's not about it's not some sexy.
Oh, I know.
You know. Well, I know she's hot, but you know what I mean. I mean, the premise of that show, they always fought bad guys. Always.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, she stood for right.
Yeah.
And that was fun. But I guess where I'm going with this, like all these shows, when they start changing direction of the writing, it's not the same.
I know.
And so if I were a writer and I had those shows, I would say, no, I'm not going to change that.
Exactly.
I'm just going to keep it going. See.
Yeah.
Let me think of something here to play here.
Speaking of planets that kind of change the direction, did you ever see an R-rated movie called Pitch Black? It was excellent.
I never heard of it.
Oh, it was a good.
I believe you. I just don't know
It was about this crew was stranded on this one planet, and they had a convict with them that they were taking back or something. And it was a blazing hot planet with 3 suns, kind of like Tatooine or something, just blazing desert. For some reason, they found this one thing that on another crash ship or something. Well, every 100 years or 1,000 years, this one planet came, or maybe it was just a very hot sun or something, would come between the sun at a perfect alignment and that planet. It became pitch black. You couldn't see stars, you couldn't see anything. Well, out of that, these creatures would come out and start hunting for food, and of course it was hunting the stranded people. Finally, they were able to get off that planet. It was a very gory movie, and it was really cool. It was just a really cool, frightening movie. I loved it.
Well, getting back to that reminds me of Lost in Space again. They eventually get off that planet that they're trapped on. They're what's interesting is they started the entire series over on New TV. All the black ones. Like about 3-4 weeks ago, they had the actual launch of the Jupiter 2, and I happened to tape that episode.
Yeah.
And that's funny. The United States was racing other nations.
Yes.
That was the plot line of Lost in Space, to be the first one to go into space, because they wanted to go into Alpha Centauri and colonize that planet because the Earth was overpopulated. And Dr. Smith originally, before he became a coward,
I know.
he was a tough guy then.
He
He was sent to sabotage that. He programmed a robot to destroy the Jupiter 2 8 hours after launch. But Dr. Smith gets trapped in the Jupiter 2 just before it takes off. And of course, he doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
So he wakes up Major West, and then Major West wakes up the family. And the extra 200-pound weight caused the Jupiter 2 to go into that meteor shower.
Yeah.
And that's how the series started. It was all serious stuff.
They made a movie of Lost in Space.
I didn't care for it either.
Yeah.
And I like William Hurt. I think he's a fine actor, but I just think that, like anything else, they overkill on getting fancy.
Yeah, they did.
And I have it in my collection, because it's Lost in Space. But I didn't care for it. I mean,
nor did I don't know
they
why.
had Major West character like a womanizer, and I like June Lockhart. I think she's a sweetie. She's one of my favorite actresses. But the character that they played, Maureen Robinson, in that movie, I didn't like. She was like this macho, tough kind of Sigourney Weaver alien type. And that's not Maureen Robinson. She's more of a tough lady, but sweet. Follows her husband kind of thing. That's the way they did it on Lost in Space. But in this movie version, she'd tell her husband where to go. And I didn't care for that, but I just didn't think the movie didn't it didn't fit with Lost in
No,
Space.
it didn't. No.
In my opinion.
No.
The Flintstones fit with the Flintstones.
Oh, yeah.
That yeah, and stuff like that. But I think if I were a pianist, I'd like to be a film critic. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to make a living just watching movies and give your opinion?
Like I said, I loved Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel.
Yeah,
Siskel and Ebert, that was a fantastic show.
I like those guys. I know they have other film critics too, but those two in particular.
Yeah.
And what I liked about them is if there was a movie that they thought was inappropriate, they would tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
They would tell you the plot, they'd tell you why, and tell you not to go see it, and they would just pick it apart.
Yeah, that's great, yeah.
It was fun.
And I loved when they debated, like one person would love the movie, the other person would hate the movie, and they really interrupted each other.
Yeah, that was fun. But when they were in unison,
Yeah.
like a movie, Hoop Dreams. Did you know about that movie, Hoop Dreams?
Never heard of it.
It was like this inner city movie about basketball, and that sort of thing. And Roger and Gene, they were big fans of this film, and they were ticked off because this movie should have been nominated for an Academy Award. It wasn't.
Yeah.
They just laid into Hollywood.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Hoop Dreams. And there are a lot of movies that should be nominated that don't get nominated.
I know.
And so Siskel and Ebert would go after Hollywood and the Motion Picture Film Academy and so on. Detail why these movies should have been nominated.
And I am still upset to this day that E.T. didn't win Best Picture in 1984.
Wow.
Or 1983, sorry.
But it's amazing how old that is now.
E.T., I loved that
like
movie.
30 years old? I have it in my collection.
82, 92, 2002, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 34 years old, yeah. I loved E.T. I saw that movie over and over and over again. I have it on tape, too. Very touching. I wonder if people even remember E.T.
Let me see. Let me try to figure it out. Hold on. Probably not.
Well, basically what the movie was about was, it was a Steven Spielberg movie, very touching about this extraterrestrial. He was a botanist, got stranded on Earth near California, and some alien hunters were after him, from the U.S. government to study aliens. He gets stranded and gets lost. He meets this one young boy, 12-year-old boy named Elliot, who found he could be a really compassionate person, and they became best friends. They became such best friends, they were telepathically and empathically linked. But E.T. started dying either because he was away from his home or of some sort of
I think it was because he was away from his home, if I remember.
Exactly. And so did Elliot. He started dying too, and they were kind of in a hospital, and then they started working on E.T. And of course, the whole family loved him. Everyone was crying, and everyone cried when E.T. died, except for me. I don't know. I was just moved by the whole Elliot's emotion because I've had close friendships like that. Then, because E.T. had been getting some stuff together and forming this one thing. They finally got back home. They sent a ship. He got back home, finally.
Yeah.
And it was a very touching movie. I loved it myself.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to have to sign off here. Do you have any final words you want to say? And I'll make some acknowledgments.
Just before I said, even Neil Diamond wrote a song based on E.T.
Did he really?
Yeah, Turn On Your Heart Light. Let it make a happy glow. Young
was
boys.
that based on E.T.? I did not know
yes.
that.
Yeah, about a young boy's dream. He's looking for a home. It's got to be because it was around the same time as E.T.
Oh,
Turn On Your Heart Light.
See.
Because E.T. had that heart light. Because Neil Diamond loves to make stuff based on movies like Saber Dance. Romance was 1977. Lightsaber Dance, of course. Turn On Your Heart Light. Let it shine for all the world to see. In a young boy's dream, gonna take a ride across the moon, you and me. Right. He's looking for a home. I love that song.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Neil Diamond, I think he's a fine singer.
He's fantastic.
And if he ever sees this,
thumbs
up. Like with Siskel and Ebert.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will give our thumbs up to Neil Diamond.
Absolutely.
And that's a good way to end this show.
It is.
I am Asaph Adonai, your host, and time goes by really fast.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. On my left, affectionately, our aging rocker Emmett, and this was just fun.
It was.
And if Neil Diamond ever sees this,
that was an excellent song. Fantastic.
We gave him a thumbs up. I think he's like in his 70s now.
Yeah.
Well, that voice of his is still there.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic.
Amazing that guy could still sing after all these years, and he sings well. And that's not to take away from the other singers. There are a lot of good singers out there, but Neil Diamond, he is.
Really.
Really.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, absolutely.
So until our next show, ladies and gentlemen, Maranatha.
Sorry, I couldn't think of a surreal joke, but I've about run out, and I was trying to think about one about E.T. and Neil Diamond. Couldn't do it. Sorry. Maybe next time.
And I'll freeze on that note. Well, make yourself at home, and Neil Diamond will be proud of you.
Mm-hmm.